I think last week it made the decision for us. That's why we
Yeah.
changed plans.
Yep.
Okay, let's see if it's gonna.
Did you tell about the fire alarm? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just yeah, we are live on YouTube. That's good. So,
Okay.
um, let me get started on this channel. We'll just do half an hour, half an hour. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
Record. So let's record. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Friday, January 10th, 2025. This is GoldFish Report number 1131, and this is our weekly food for the soul with Brother Lou and the Canaries.
I like that.
Yeah, these guys give the warnings and we work
Oh,
together.
that's
This is
funny.
really funny. I know it is funny.
Like a rock
I
group.
had to do it.
A blues
So
band.
Right, yeah, a blues
a
band.
blues band. I know you liked
A blues
flamingos better, but it just because what happened when you were on last week. So joining me today is our Food for the Soul guest, the psychic medium Mark Christopher Nelson, and his lovely co-paranormal investigator and wife, lovely wife, Barbara. Welcome back.
Hey, we're glad to be back
Glad to be
always.
Yeah.
here.
Going
We
on in the
made it
world.
through
Yeah.
another week.
Another
This is
week.
a very, very stressful time for a lot of people. Let me just see if I can turn that. Oh, is that any better?
Yeah, you
Can
can
you
make
hear
it
me
Yeah,
better?
louder.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. It's stressful. Look, what's going on in California is got everybody's attention, and for a reason. It's a distraction. There's many very important decisions that are happening this week, or publications, investigations that are going to be made public.
Mhm.
We also know that in 10 days we have Trump getting ready to take the oath of office. Uh, so I think it's very clear that this is end game, that the people who have been, um, you know, corrupting the system, and making life miserable for everybody on the planet, it's a cleanup operation right now. So, sadly, this is what they want to do. They usually accomplish many agendas with one event. And what was strange was this is what I was trying to share before it might have been taken off of Twitter, was that there's many people who predicted that these fires were going to become, um, more prevalent. We know that Allie Carter, who was an SRA, um, she was trafficked as a child, especially to the elite and former presidents, I would say, allegedly, according to her, that there was going to be an effort made to destroy evidence of these crimes against humanity and against children. And my opinion, it's crimes against creation. Anytime you hurt a child or the reproductive capacity of women, then it's a crime against nature.
Mhm.
So that, I mean, I don't know, there could be a more severe crime, right? So your prediction last week that you would see people in mass kind of moving to relocate as a result of natural or man-made disasters, you were spot on. Scary, spot on, but you were. I mean, you were pretty accurate. And I know this happened, really started to happen in earnest over the weekend,
Mhm.
that it just became this incredible inferno in Los Angeles. And this is where you're from, so I know this is a very difficult thing for you to personally, go through and watch as your neighborhoods have absolutely been burnt down to an ash. There is an evil force on this planet. There's no question about it that we are in a spiritual war. And if this doesn't prove it, I don't know what will, because what's going to happen is I think there's a lot of people that are going to start their journey to finding our Heavenly Father again as a result of this. And that kind of is the whole point, is to put Him first. A lot of people have turned away from God and turned away from, uh, you know, trying to earn their way into heaven. It's not guaranteed for anybody, to anyone. I mean, this
Or
is a
create your heaven here. You think you're
yeah.
going to have the ultimate mansion, the ultimate life, the ultimate everything, and then the wind begins to blow. So.
And that's why I think it's like, why does Elon Musk, why is he even bothering going to Mars when we can't even get along here? Like, how dare us, with the problems we have on this planet, go and take it somewhere else? And I just kind of feel like it's reckless and irresponsible to be thinking that way when you're purely profiting from it. Mankind doesn't profit from it. We've rarely profited from any of their space exploration at all. So anyway, that's for another report. But tonight, let me just check in with the live chat and see if we have our friends joining us tonight. I know, yeah, some people didn't know if we were going to be here tonight. I know. Hi, thanks for joining us. Yeah, Maria's here. We have is that Poppy? We have DJ, and that's wonderful. If you guys have a question, please put it in the chat. We're going to be here for a half an hour, and then we're going to go over to Facebook. So if you want to follow us over, it's facebook.com/the Goldfish Report. So you can follow us there. Actually, why don't I type that in? And here's Amanda Kennedy. Yeah. Yeah, lots of snow in Kentucky. I bet. I heard about it.
Yeah.
We're getting a little here now for the first time in a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just seeing.
And ice and
Hmm.
sleet.
Yeah.
And so
All of
Poppy says, greetings from the Netherlands. Thanks for staying up and tuning in. And they're saying thanks to you two as well for being here. So if you have, as you know, Mark is a psychic medium, and last week Mark did predict that he would be seeing more people moving, relocating, migrating was
running,
the
like literally
migrating.
running and escaping. It
Yeah.
was it was scary to me. And I thought it would be a natural and man-made issue, things that would cause people to run. Now we're wondering, okay, we see the wind, but is the wind um, being aided by some kind of technology?
Yeah.
Is it being modified? In addition, is who benefits? Who will benefit from this? Right now, all we see is people running in fear. Also, too, there are so many people that are saying, don't make this political. Um, but we have to ask ourselves, how did we get here? And who would be responsible for this? And I think that's going to be something that we have to seriously look at, or we will be destined to repeat this same kind of a
Mm-hmm.
disastrous scenario.
It just doesn't seem plausible that you have such poor decisions one after the next in that area that would lead to such an out of control inferno without having the appropriate supplies, without having the appropriate um, manpower or I mean water. I mean there's something going on with this water. What's the big what did they the Orville Dam they redirected it to the Orville Dam so it would what, go to an estuary or something or what and so the heat but weren't they having water in their homes and then the question was well isn't the hydrant system on the same water system that the residential water is on?
Another crazy thing is
They
that
had a reservoir
the
there,
Pacific Palisades Reservoir
reservoir, and it
was
was
closed and empty.
empty. It
Yeah,
was empty.
I mean,
yeah.
how did someone decide that we didn't need that reservoir? Also, too, um,
Insurance. They
Karen
canceled.
Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, cut the fire department funding by 17.6 million, and even right before the fire had tried to make it a much higher cut. Why is she, I mean, is she being prompted to do this, or does she have phenomenally bad judgment? Either option is not good for the people. And at 17.6 million, which is kind of, when you look at some of the money that they put into, um,
Homeless.
I mean, homeless and other programs, that's a
Right.
drop in the bucket. But
Mhm.
because they did not do anything regarding brush abatement and also better
Right. For
water management,
years.
there were hydrants that were empty,
Mm.
and then there was brush that was everywhere. Now, I mean, who made those decisions? And those people need to be held responsible. Otherwise,
It's just gonna
it's
keep
going to
going.
continue.
Yeah.
And the sad tragedy is we're not at the end of this.
No.
The major fires are only, the Kenneth fire, which is
Mm.
probably among the smallest of the many burning, is 25%, 35% contained. Unfortunately, the wind is picking up
Mhm.
tomorrow, and then there's another huge
On
wind event
Monday.
coming Monday through Wednesday. So we haven't seen, this isn't just all going away. It's going to unfortunately rage on. And
Right.
so, I mean, I have family there. I'm supposed to visit next week. I'm not sure what we're going to do because we have to see how this all um, how it goes. I really thought I would be able to go without a blinking an eye, but I guess we have to wait and see.
Yeah, and so, you but the funny thing is that they're already criticizing. Let's see, Henry Winkler had put a post out, um, and he was claiming this was arson. Um, and there may be some of that involved,
Yeah, so
but it clearly, when I look at that fire, I have never, when you see deep, deep reds and deep, deep, deep oranges, to me, that is a very hot fire. That is
right,
extremely hot, like more than a normal fire.
Mhm.
right.
And when everything gets so burnt to a you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of um, these batteries in these EV cars when they catch on fire.
Yeah.
That
Right.
they burn that color. It's so hot, and the fire department have commented that you can't put these fires out with water. You have to put them
No.
out by suffocating them with sand, or I don't know, maybe they'll
Yeah.
develop some kind of foam that they can use to suffocate these very hot and intense fires. But there's other causes of this. I mean, we have seen beams of light going through the sky. What does that mean? You know, I can speculate what it means. I feel pretty confident that if I did, I mean, I'm really not one to speculate, to be honest, on my reports, but unless I specifically say I'm speculating, like I am now.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it
Right.
definitely sounds like an energy weapon. And by the way, the good news about this is not really about, I'm not talking about the fire, but I'm talking about the fact that it's exposing some of these technologies.
Hmm.
This is important. This is something that is being done today as we speak. We have the president, Trump, has already put out a statement regarding the transfer of power from Biden administration to Trump or Obama administration, whatever you want to call it, regarding these directed energy weapon type injuries that people have been having from, like, call it Havana syndrome, things like that. Now
Right.
Mhm.
that will help get us to the frequency weapons, the weaponization of technology against the people, including weather modification. This is weather weaponization as well, as you were saying before.
Yeah.
One thing I
Yeah.
want to just before we go too far is that my concern is that this could be just a large scale distraction. Why? I mean, they've got us all worried about all forms of fire, all forms, the wind is coming. Why is the wind coming? I mean, they've had countless people that have been left, let into the country without any accountability as to about where they are and what they want to do.
Mhm.
But the idea is that if a foreign country wanted to attack us, harm us,
They're already here.
I mean, what we're seeing is that you don't need to drop bombs on California to
No.
destroy it. But what if we're so like caught up in trying to manage this? How do we handle, say, a military action or something else that's bigger?
Right.
And
Right.
then it's makes you really think, okay, when I go, I mean, I'm really trying to be aware, awake, but I would say it's like I'm seeing the fires, but I want to make sure, is there something else that
Right.
we
You're
need to be
not.
looking at that we're only, it's almost like someone wants you to look here
Right.
or there when we should be looking somewhere
Distraction.
else. So please be conscious of this because this could set us up while we're so worried about one type of attack that we could become incredibly vulnerable to something else. And I hate to make it's such a broad statement, but it just feels like I guess the thing we can do is just, again, I've said it 10 times, be prepared in your own home to, um,
Well, if the power grid goes out.
yeah, if the power grid goes out, what can you do? Do you have food? All these little things, these are little steps that we can
Mhm.
take to outlast
It,
interruptions in the services
mhm.
that so many of us depend on.
Let me go to the chat and we'll come back to this topic in a minute, depending on our questions and stuff. But I mean, it's one Amanda is asking, do you see the new Madrid fault line having an issue this year due to an earthquake, maybe?
I'm not seeing the New Madrid. I think it's called the New Madrid.
New
Don't
Madrid.
mind me. But it that runs through St. Louis in the middle of the country. I am more
Hmm.
concerned about fault lines out west in California,
Mhm.
or Southern California. So it's almost if they, I mean, it's one of the richest, most powerful, most influential areas in the country. And if a earthquake were to um, follow up of the fires, it's difficult to imagine the amount of suffering and damage that
Mm.
would occur from that. So I don't see a lot happening on New Madrid. If we do,
Hmm.
it's you know what I will tell you this. I hear like a 5.4, something like that, which would
Okay.
cause some shaking and problems and a minor
Mm.
disruption of
Yeah.
uh, services, but nothing like what can and could be
Mm.
happening. Uh,
Uh, they were looking, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But there was an earthquake today up in the San Francisco area. I think it was like a 3.4, just so you're aware. Joanne has a question. Are you ready for questions? Or
yes.
another question rather? Okay. Joanne says, does she have any family coming through for her tonight? Any questions? I mean, any messages?
I'm hearing a guy, Bob, B name male. That is Bob, um, B. Joanne, this feels like a guy that would give her a big hug. Feels like male. Feels like Bob, Robert. I don't know if there is a Bob or Robert, but I'm seeing this guy shows up, gives her a hug, and is he's telling her to take good care. I feel like lock doors, be conscious of how you take care of yourself. I'm not trying to be this doomsday forecaster. I don't think that's
Mm.
it. But I feel like for her, um, he says that keep an eye on, like, I see her like scoop up your loose change, be conscious of saving a little bit. And I feel, and he says, I'm just here to tell you that I hear you. When you talk to me, I hear you.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, Maria would like to know if the house of her father-in-law, Victor, is going to be sold this year.
Yeah, yeah, well, it's going to be sold. Um, it feels like that they find some structural issue in it, so that might hurt or damage a little bit of the resale value, but it sells. All right. It feels like there's some cracks that need to be addressed through the center of the home, or it's like a sizable crack. It can be fixed, it can be abated, it can be managed, and then the
Mhm.
house sells. And I would say get rid of it.
Okay. She said, thank you so much. That's always a good thing to know about that. Excuse me. Going back until we we're going to spend a half an hour, so we have like another 10 minutes we're going to do on YouTube. I don't know what happened last week, but we couldn't get on. You can always follow us, and I'm going to, I said I was going to do this. Wait, go back here. I said I was going to do this, put the address for Facebook. You can follow us over uh, on Facebook. So when we close out here, um, look, we have enemies within. I think you know, Trump has said on day one, basically, he's going to tell the American people what the drones are really about. Well, I can't wait to hear what he has to say, what their cover story is, or whatever it's going to be, or whatever their story is. Um, to talk about the drones and what they're all about. And he's made multiple remarks about how he can't believe that they're not telling us. So, whatever that is, he's going to inform us, God willing. Can you talk about, now that we're getting closer, we're 10 days away, Mark, do you see I keep seeing the number 19. You actually that came up also in this remote view that we had done. Well, we had done for the report when we, well, not the information that you came through. Is there anything new? Is there any changes or any updates to your prediction at the for the inauguration?
I feel like that it will be, um, there's highs and lows. There'll be many people that are there to celebrate, but I also feel like that there's going to be a very large faction of people there with the purpose of disrupting the event. Feels like that um, it's not going to go smoothly. It feels like that there's a great deal of chaos on the ground about this. I envision someone either letting go or um, using a bomb in some way, shape, or form that would be very difficult to defend against. Feels like that there's two things that occur. I feel like I see a truck, like a large an 18 wheeler or a large vehicle that could be used to carry um, a destructive payload. And it isn't just, I feel like that there's a big burn involved with it, fire, heat. And then I also feel like I see this plane coming down nearby, which and it's this is going to be a two-pronged thing, unfortunately. I pray to God I'm wrong. If I am, chalk it up to my own fears. But I feel like that there will be more than one um, attempt to disrupt this event. Okay. There'll be a twofold assault. And so if someone is there going to attend, be conscious of where you could go should there be problems. And that I just pray that everyone that our security services are able to protect us.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Well, you didn't know I was going to do this, but I think it's important to do this. I'm going to show you a clip now um, of a CIA agent, whether she's whistleblower or a current employee. I think once you're
Uh,
CIA, you're always CIA, actually. She has something to tell everyone and warn people about. And it's quite interesting after what you just said. So let me see if I can pull that up, unless that's been removed too.
Uh,
We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see. No, it's a very important clip. And I just want to, I'm hoping that I can pull it up. But in the meantime, while we're waiting, we can take a look at the chat and see if we have anybody else who has anything that they have. Yeah, well, here it is. Actually, let me just play this because this
okay.
really validates what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your. Yep. Okay, I got it.
Mhm.
Um, let me screen share this, and then I'm going to. Yeah, I didn't have a very good week myself, though, to be honest.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes we just have those days. All
Yeah.
right, let's take a listen to what she has to say here. I'll see if I can pull this up a little bit more.
But the terrorists are, well, I know for sure Al Qaeda has a massive terror attack plan. They have it slotted for 2025. It could move, like the Hamas attacks got pushed a year, but it's going to be multi-city. It's going to be a swarming attack. So that's kind of like we saw with the Mumbai bombings or some in the Hamas attacks as well. They're going to have about 10% of the attackers be suicide bombers, and they're going to bomb airliners. So there will be a very large scale attack on the U.S. homeland. Does it all occur in a day? I'm not sure, but the terrorists are already here. The plan is operational. Well, I know for sure Al Qaeda has a massive terror attack plan. They
Okay,
have it
sorry,
slotted for
that's it.
2025.
So you really hit all those points, to be honest, Mark.
Yeah.
You really have but look, what you're doing is you're giving us warnings so that we can prepare. This is important. And even if it's not, it's good news in that it's information that we're getting in advance. You're not planning these events, but you're just trying to
No.
help us prepare for them.
Yes.
Right.
That is so crucial and important of a role to play in order to try to help people and warn them.
Well, I
So
hope so.
she said bombing airlines. I mean, I had definitely had some sources telling me stay off airplanes, put it all off. Stay off. They're gonna bomb air. I'm sorry. Here's Mark.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be taking off on the Friday before. I don't know if that's
Maybe,
going the
yeah,
opposite
maybe,
direction.
I don't know. I mean, so we might want to double think about that. Swarming. So this is where they're talking about, look, we know that the Chinese, at least the Chinese, it could be others, through the shipping and the cargo containers, that one of the biggest concerns was these Club K missile systems coming in through these basically, who was watching the ports? I mean, were they actually inspecting 10,000, crates every time they offload? And apparently they're not, because we know, yeah. So, I mean, how do you get a Club K missile system in here without people noticing or being paid off? And that's the problem. That will be the undoing of this country is the continuous corruption. And, as in the days of Noah, this is where we are.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you can, how many people have walked across our border? How many people in trucks? How many
Yeah.
people just by the hundreds, the thousands can wander in and not, I mean, face no real scrutiny. And there are people here who think that's a good idea. Well,
You said they were gonna use trucks.
my sense is that they will use
Yeah.
trucks to get into very, um, you can't inspect every truck either.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, so. Well, you're supposed to really at these way stations, but not all of them do get it. So we have a question from Marcia. I'm sorry, Marisha Diaz. I'm sorry about that. Does her grandmother Rose have any messages for her? Marisha.
Um, I'm seeing like for Rose or Marisha, I feel like that there's a really pretty little baby, like there's a baby being very gently handed over. So I don't know who in her family would be open to having a child, wanting a child. I see the introduction of a child coming into her life. It'll be within the next 6 months. It feels like the baby will um, show up fairly close. It will be very close in the family. I feel like that she ends up like holding, being around it, being there to love it. So that feels like a message of love and hope. Okay. And also too, I get this visual that of like being able to break if you've been feeling like you had no control, your hands were tied. I see hands breaking apart, and that gives you some freedom.
Very good. Very good. Let's just see who else has popped in.
One thing I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about a little bit was that statue of Mary in Los Angeles that it's completely escaped any kind of damage. I have to tell people it's like I had what I consider to be a very clear message from Mary um, to leave Los Angeles. I told Barbara
Mm.
about it, and I'm thinking myself, it's like you're not going to believe this. But I looked like I kept looking out right before during a meditation and seeing Mary pointing away from our home.
Mm,
And
mm,
it had taken us a lot of work to get into this house. It was a place that we really loved and appreciated. And then I'm telling, it's like, Barb, there's another one of those things. I'm not sure you want to hear it, but I'm being told that we need to move. And then I saw it twice. I saw her twice,
Because we didn't listen the first time.
and then we did move. So I gotta think that,
Second time she was pretty serious.
yeah. But Barbara was receptive, and I'm grateful for that. And again, everybody, I'm just this. I'm nobody special. I wish I could say I was. I'm not. And I just see this, and it's just like, okay, thank you, Mary.
mm,
Thank you, God. I feel like she's,
And then we come to our neighborhood and there's like several statues of Mary in people's yards.
yeah.
Like
So it's an
like
area.
welcome.
wow. Well, that's a sign. There you have it. Um,
And I saw
I'm going to screen share that in a second. But we have Dan asking if you still see the ditching of the aircraft with the bad cargo near New Jersey.
I think so. I mean, Dan, I got to tell you, it looks if it's not New Jersey, and I'm not trying to hedge my bets. I thought it was Jersey. I thought they wanted to attack here, but I also hear Maryland is another place where they could get into the water, like scuttle, crash a plane, be near. But all right, I'm splitting the baby here a little bit, but it's either somewhere near New Jersey and New York in like a big bay next to both states, or it feels like it's right next to Maryland, where there's so much critical infrastructure, government facilities. Feels like that. I don't know if they're going to do both, but I see a plane crashing and then causing significant damage.
Okay, let me screen share the let me see. Picture I just posted, which was this picture that Barb just texted me. I have to do a lot of fancy footwork on these windows, between these files
Yeah.
here. So let me screen share that so you can see that. So this was, you can see the fire all around it. You can see the charred remains, and there's not even any dust on it. I mean, it's amazing.
It's perfect. No scorching,
Yeah.
nothing.
Make that bigger if I can.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful statue.
That just amazes me when something like that happens. That's just so. Um, there's a lot of other important stories on the Goldfish Report on X. You might want to go there to take a look at this. Here's a strange situation where this
Wednesday by
white,
whomever was sitting in that wheelchair, whomever their caregivers were trying to get out of here. Thankfully, we believe they did.
but what's peculiar here is the house behind it's completely torqued, burned down. The trees aren't touched. The white picket fence isn't touched. And this makes me think this could just be it almost looks like a laser went through and just lasered off, very precisely the blocks of houses because there's so much that's not burned that like is very suspicious, right? Because
Yeah.
when you pan out, this guy's looking.
Look
In
at
front
that.
of the white picket fence you see there.
You can see this side of the street is
Yeah.
completely burnt. This side is burnt, but the fence isn't. And there can only be one reason. I mean, it has to be like a very, like, a controlled burn. Yeah, I would have to think, right?
Well, they were
What do you
showing
think?
yeah.
they were showing pictures of houses burning from within, not their roof, which you think
Mhm.
embers would go on the roof. They were burning from within. And now they're saying that these smart meters are basically bombs and they can be set off,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Dan said he saw this near Washington Slaughter Beach, in fact, to be specific. So that's where he saw that. And thanks, Dan. That was really great, amazing
Yeah.
teamwork that we pulled off because
Yes.
let me tell you, once this happened, there was a sudden notice, and Project Veritas did a very quick story on how they felt that this was the call for medical personnel was extremely rare for the excessive amount of medical personnel that they were ordering for or calling for the inauguration. So it really tells me that
Oh,
a
they're
collaborative effort happened, and that was even a confirmation. Not that there probably wouldn't be anyway, but this was addition, you know. And so uh, they were trying to ascertain whether this was normal, and the people would just give them a runaround. They're like, well, this is not unusual, yet someone else from another agency says it is unusual. So that's the government for you, right? The two heads
kind of
never talking to each other, right? Two departments. So, Dan, do you have a question now? Could also be the Elk River Bay of Annapolis, Maryland. It could also be in the Elk River Bay. Yeah, I mean, I
I
had
heard a
heard
bay. I saw a bay, so
you
that
saw
makes
a bay. That's it, Elk River Bay. Stay away, people. Don't go boating. Just rather for the next 10 days be on the side of caution, error on the side of caution, so that um, if you're in a public place, um, try to avoid it. Just try to avoid it till we can get past, yeah, two possible targeting sites. Three mountains that were hit. Does he feel those were man-made hits or straight from God Almighty? That's what Cheryl would like to know.
um I do think that there is a man-made quality to this. I
Mhm.
know it's hard to put a finger on this. I feel like that the wind where we become so conscious of how the government has the capacity to manipulate weather, and that, so yeah, I think that this is to a large degree, it has been amplified and made worse. Now I want everyone to look at, see, all right, I do believe that they can also manage earthquakes. I think that shake in north in California, it really could. I hate to say could, woulda, starting to sound very fakey sidekick here, but I just feel like that I've been seeing that the earthquake coming as well. And so this would be truly an attack. Barbara believes it's very much about how we're being attacked in different ways. I have to think that this could be an attack. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm answering the question anymore, but um,
Well,
yeah.
what we're going to do is, I think we've answered everyone's questions who have been in the chat tonight. What we would like to do is, because we're building a following also over on Facebook, is to ask you all to, I put the link in the chat there, facebook.com/ the Goldfish Report. We're going to go over to Facebook right now. We're going to close this up on YouTube and go over and visit with our friends on Facebook for a little while. So the link is here. I hope that you all can follow us over there. Um, yeah. And we're going to do that right now. So I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube. We will be back. Well, we won't be back next week because possibly because Mark may be traveling. So yes, everybody stay safe and stay well. Thank you for that message. And thanks to everybody who's been in the chat tonight. So we're going to go over to Facebook. The link's in the chat. So just follow us over there and we can continue just right where we are. So thanks for viewing tonight and we'll continue this over on Facebook.